All right, let's talk about it. K-pop, demon hunting, and a global obsession. You've seen the memes, you've definitely heard the music, and you're probably asking the same thing as everyone else. Why is K-pop Demon Hunters, an animated movie of all things, suddenly the biggest thing on the entire planet? Okay, let's get into it. You know, this isn't your average success story. Not at all. The studio behind it actually got cold feet. The whole project was crazy expensive, felt like a huge gamble, and they almost just scrapped it. But then Netflix swooped in. And what happened next was, well, it was basically an explosion that shook the entire industry. And when I say explosion, I mean a jaw-dropping 325 million views. To put that in perspective, that number alone makes it Netflix's most watched movie of all time. It didn't just break records, it completely rewrote the rules for what a streaming hit could even be.
And no, that's not an exaggeration. A quote from Digitex said, "This film caused a cultural earthquake on the same level as Frozen." Yeah, you heard that right, Frozen. It's a huge claim, but honestly, when you look at the music charts, the social media trends, the sold-out everything, it's kind of hard to argue.
So, that brings us to the big question we're tackling in this explainer. How on earth did this happen? For the old guard in Hollywood, the success of K-pop Demon Hunters seemed to come out of absolutely nowhere, a total shock to the system. But here's the thing, and this is what's so fascinating. While all the studio execs were scratching their heads, anyone who was actually paying attention to what people were watching and buying and talking about, they could see this coming from a mile away. The signs were all there. So, the bottom line is this. The movie's insane success wasn't just some lucky break. It was the totally predictable result of major trends in streaming, music, and fandom all crashing together. It's a blueprint for a modern blockbuster, and today we're going to take that blueprint apart piece by piece. Okay, so let's start with part one of that formula. It all begins with how we watch movies now. The perfect storm for K-pop Demon Hunters didn't start in a movie theater. It started right there on the living room couch. And we have to talk about this concept, the repeat play economy. See, unlike a movie you go see once in a theater, the biggest streaming hits are powered by families who don't just watch, they rewatch and rewatch, and you guessed it, rewatch again. That constant playing is what gives a film like this such incredible staying power on Netflix. And these are the key players making that engine run. You've got the families watching on a loop for sure, but then you add in millennial parents who aren't just putting up with their kid's favorite movie, they're actually getting into it and sharing it themselves, throwing a killer soundtrack that everybody loves and characters that feel real and messy and human, and bam, you've got a phenomenon.
And you can't underestimate the money side of this. This chart shows that millennial parents are spending 13% more than the average person on family-related stuff. They've got the buying power, and they are more than willing to spend it on movies, merch, you name it, as long as the whole family can get excited about it.
All right, let's move on to the second piece of the puzzle, and you could argue it's the most powerful one, the music. This wasn't just a movie with some catchy tunes. The soundtrack became a global event all by itself.
I mean, the numbers here are just wild. This is the first soundtrack in history, ever, to land 4 songs in the Billboard Top 10 at the same time. The main song, Golden, is getting serious Grammy buzz. And this wasn't just on the radio. Within weeks, it completely took over TikTok and became the go-to family playlist. And this chart really shows why the music worked so well. Look at that overlap. Music is a huge interest for both Gen Z and their millennial parents. That shared love is the perfect cultural bridge that lets a movie connect with literally everyone in the house. It's what creates a true family-wide fandom.
So, this is basically the modern playbook for how a song takes over the world. It starts in the movie, right? But then it hits TikTok, where a crazy 76% of people discover new music. From there, it blows up into a dance, a trend, a meme, and next thing you know, it's at the top of every chart on the planet. It's a clear, repeatable formula.
So, we've got the streaming habits and the viral music. The third crucial pillar of this whole thing was an audience that was already there, totally primed and just waiting for something like this. The massive, super organized, and incredibly passionate K-pop fandom. Hollywood might have been surprised, but honestly, the economic signs were flashing in neon. Interest in K-pop among Gen Z is almost double that of the general population. And just look at the money here. The market for K-pop events was already over $8 billion in 2021, and it's projected to hit $20 billion.
This wasn't some tiny niche, it was a global economic juggernaut.
And that juggernaut is powered by fans like this. This quote from a Reddit user just perfectly sums up the obsession. It's not one specific thing they love, it's the whole package. The music, the art style, the story, the humor, it's all of it working together.
And this is what that passion looks like in the real world. This isn't just people sitting back and watching. Fans are creating their own stuff, writing stories, dissecting every frame on Reddit, making their own dance videos, and treating the fictional K-pop group from the movie Hunter X like they're a real band. They're actively helping to build the phenomenon.
Okay, so what happens when all this energy escapes the screen and crashes into the real world? Well, the impact of K-pop Demon Hunters goes way beyond streaming numbers. It created a genuine cultural shockwave, a big one. And if you want to see just how direct that real-world impact is, check this out. In the movie, there's this funny scene where the characters eat ridiculously spicy ramen. In real life, it sparked a viral internet challenge that literally sent people to the emergency room with serious burns. It's a pretty wild example of fiction directly shaping reality.
And just look at how fast it all happened. The movie drops in June. By August, the sing-along version is making $20 million in theaters. By October, you can't find the Halloween costumes anywhere. And by November, its main song is in the Grammy conversation. A complete cultural takeover in less than 6 months.
So, what's the big takeaway from all this? It's that K-pop Demon Hunters wasn't a fluke. It's a blueprint. And it proves that if you just pay attention to the data, to how we're streaming, what we're sharing, and where we're spending our money, the next big thing isn't really a surprise. It's an inevitability. Which of course leaves us with one last really big question. If we have the blueprint now for how a modern blockbuster is made, what are the trends bubbling up right now that are going to define the next one? What's the next K-pop Demon Hunters? That's a question we'll have to chew on for a little while. We hope this helped you understand the massive phenomenon behind K-pop Demon Hunters. If you want more explainers that break down the biggest cultural trends just like this one, you know what to do. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.